What's up? Welcome into your Buckeye Rush Hour for a Friday. Finally, Friday. Only a handful of Fridays left before we got some actual football to talk about. So, hope everybody's having a good end of their week. Get into the weekend early if you can. And appreciate everybody joining me. Please subscribe. We're trying to hit 3,000 subscribers, 3K by week 1. We've got, 5 or 6 weeks, 5.5, I don't know, 6 weeks, I don't know. Anyway, please like and subscribe, like the videos. It helps all Buckeye fans find the channel, find this info, find this content. So just do your part, please. It's free, does not cost you a dime. You will not get any weird messages from me. Well, you might get weird messages, but usually they're related to football. So you know what I mean. Please share with a friend, share with a non-friend, share with an enemy, or family members. Could be both. So appreciate everybody being in here, and let's get into it. So if you read the title, the big what if, what happens if Ohio State loses to Michigan again this season? Ryan Day goes 0-3 against Team Up North. He's 1-3 overall. He won the game in 2019. They didn't show up in 2020. We didn't get credit for that forfeit, but then 3 losses in a row. So what has to happen? How does this happen? Currently, the Buckeyes early betting lines have the Buckeyes as an underdog going into Ann Arbor as a horde at plus 3.5. The Buckeyes are the dog. So when we talk about the Buckeyes losing again to Michigan, I don't care where it's at, but we need to decide, okay, if the Buckeyes lose, what's the final score? First, you got to tell me that. And then how did they lose? Was it a high scoring affair, low scoring affair? If it's high scoring, did we have defensive issues again, giving up explosive plays? The offense was good, obviously, for the Buckeyes. If it was a high scoring affair, they moved the ball. Just the defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. Is it one of those kind of games? If it's a low scoring game, maybe it's just, maybe bad weather, whatever. Both teams are just running the ball, or maybe there's an injury, a serious injury to a quarterback or something that limits the Ohio State offense, limits the Michigan offense even more. But or were there key injuries to the offense or defense? So that can keep a game somewhat closer and low scoring. So again, let's take the path of high scoring, close game. So let's say 40 Buckeyes lose 42-39, miss a late field goal to tie it and go to overtime. So what does that look like? To me, that sounds like more defensive issues, again, more explosive plays, and from there we're gonna get to the road, go down the road of changes to the defense. So my question is, what happens after the fact, not during the game? What happens after the fact if the Buckeyes take another loss? It's a high scoring game. The Buckeyes offense is moving the ball well. They just couldn't make enough plays when they had to. And one caveat to this. If anybody comes in here and tries to say that the Buckeyes were soft last year, you're getting booted, because if you say the Buckeyes were soft, you don't know football and you're just causing trouble and talking shit. Now, that can be, Buckeye fans do like to start shit and be negative all the time. Some, not all, but do not come in here and say the Buckeyes were soft last year, because you don't know football if you say that. And I don't have the tolerance. It's the end of the week. I need another afternoon coffee to keep me going. But just a word of warning. I appreciate everybody coming in, but Not soft. Thank you. So back to the high scoring affair. Buckeyes move the ball through the air on the ground. But the defense again gives up explosive plays. What do we have, like 11 last year, I believe. I have the stats pulled up. I think we had 11 explosive plays against Michigan last year, and that's way too many. I mean, Jim Knowles used to say that, they had 10 and the Buckeyes only had 4 last year. So that's way too many. Jim Knowles used to say, before last year that he would tolerate 5 explosive plays in the game. No, Ryan Day squashed that shit. He said, no, we're going to go with none. How about none explosive plays? So that's how the high scoring game looks. So keep that in the back of your mind. Defensive issues, good offense. Now, the other option is a low scoring, close game. Good defense, defense keeps the maybe gets some 4 and outs or 3 and outs, and then the offense just can't. It keeps sputtering, can't get the ball past midfield. Michigan's playing good defense. Again, maybe it's bad weather, rain, something like that makes the ball slippery. There's turnovers in both directions. Maybe kind of a sloppy game, creates this low scoring, close game. All right. Again, are there any key injuries going into the game or during the early parts of the game that are going to affect this outcome? I need to know that. So let's go on the assumption that no, these teams are virtually 100%. Maybe a tight end's injured, then doesn't play, or something like that. A secondary type guy, not a player in the secondary, but not a top level guy. So in a low scoring, close game where the defense does its job, gets the other team off the field, but the offense can't get it in the end zone, that falls on Ryan Day and the offense, and obviously Brian Hartline now, if he's calling plays, assuming he's still calling plays by game 12. So how do you take this? Let's start with the first. Let's go the first route. I'm looking for the chat to really steer this and give me a lot of input. So let's say high scoring, close game. Stick with me. Defensive issues, offensively, not so many issues. Just couldn't get the ball in the end zone enough. How do you go from here going forward into the off season? This doesn't, let's not even think about getting into the playoffs in this season. Let's just focus on what happened against Michigan. And let's assume both teams came into the game 11-0, because that's very possible. The Buckeyes, maybe they'll still be underdogs, by week 12. So what do you do if you're Ryan Day or even Gene Smith? What do you do if you have these defensive issues again against the best team on your schedule? Do you fire Jim Knowles, or do you look at shifting pieces, maybe firing Perry Eliano, Tim Walton? Do you ask Larry Johnson to retire? What if the Buckeyes aren't getting pressure on the quarterback all year like they should with Jack and JT? Do you ask Larry Johnson to step down? Take a analyst role, whatever. Do you promote James Laurinaitis and move somebody else out, like Parker Fleming or something? Do you need 2 secondary coaches with Walton and Perry Eliano? Maybe you let one of those guys go, depending on how their position group performed all year. But in this game, defensive issues, what do you do? You have to make changes, right? I mean, or do you just stand pat? You can stand pat. That's an option. And not fire somebody, because we lost to Michigan. In the low scoring game, let me check the chat, see what you guys think. Oh, hey, it's a Friday when everybody's in here. What's up, PC? You're never late. Yeah, how it happens is most of most importance. Billy says the fire day chance will be a continuous roar. PC says also if we lose another game early in the season, if we lose two, we're out of contention almost for sure. If that's the case, then maybe Day will be on the hot seat. Ooh. Okay. So you're saying regardless of what happens in the Michigan game, if we lose two, he's on the hot seat. All right. Drew, how you doing, Drew? Nice to meet you. I don't think we've seen you in the live chat before. Drew says it would. Drew says it would take a 4-loss season minimum to get Day fired. The guy has been incredible for a first-time coach at an elite program. I like that. I would agree with that, Drew. PC says, I'll say this, if we do lose that game, that could be an indictment on Knowles unless offense falls apart. Yep. PC also says last year the defense gave up in the fourth quarter, and that was upsetting. Yeah. I think guys got out of position, tried to make plays, like fill the wrong gap, and that's how you spring Donovan Edwards for 75 and 85. Bab. What's up, Bab? Bab says, badass Buckeye. It could happen because we were all so confident the last 2 years. Yeah. Jeremiah Yoder, what's up, man? The Buckeyes losing once again is something that Ohio State cannot let happen, period. I'm with you there, Jeremiah. Let's see what else we got here. PC says, I agree, Billy. They can't fall apart again. Oh, sorry, Billy. I missed you. Todd Doyle, what's up, Todd? How you doing? PC says, by now, Team Up North is in our heads. We need to get our swagger back, go up there, unload the chambers, leave it all on the field, kind of like we did against Georgia. That is the Ryan Day we need to see, right? The fucking swashbuckling gangster, the rosy cheek gangster. Todd says, just thinking they will play with focused violence all year. I like that. Focused violence. I like that. Good call, Todd. Billy says, if our D falls short again this year, I suspect Knowles will be targeted and we'll have a new DC. Yeah, but Knowles is supposed to be one of the best in the country. They're paying him freaking $2 million a year. Where do you turn? I don't know who's better. PC says, I agree, Billy. Oh, sorry, Badass Buckeye says, my money is Ohio State beating Michigan this year because our stud D-line is in its third year. Yep, I agree. And with key players, I agree. PC says they can't fall apart again. Our D is much stronger this year. Temper says, no, Knowles has 2 more years to prove himself. Okay. Temper is going to stand pat with Knowles. Billy says, I want the silver bullets back. Me too. Temper says, Day is safe. Yakov 22, how you doing? Good to see you again. Very difficult to fire someone at 11-1. Exactly. Drew says, you run it back. Everyone should know Knowles D takes a bit to learn. This is also the last year of the COVID advantage that the lesser recruiting teams have. That's a great point there, Drew. That getting those older players, off your rosters is going to hurt some teams like Michigan. Michigan likes to utilize the portal, get those guys that are like freaking 24, 25 years old, these guys, especially on the lines of scrimmage, their O-linemen were one of the older groups in the country the last couple of years. Odysseus, what's up, man? Says, don't put that Eve on me, Ricky Bobby. Sorry, Odysseus. Yakov says, starting next season 10-2 will get you in the playoffs. Not in 2023. In 2024, yes, I agree, it will. We're talking 23, though. Billy says, I have faith in Knowles, but with the talent we have on D, if we're not at least top 5, then there are issues. I agree, Billy. I'm gonna talk more about the defense coming up in a few episodes, and top 5 defense is definitely in the cards for the Buckeyes. PC says that Day has done well, but things can't just fall apart. If we don't get outplayed, then Day is off the hook. But if there's a complete breakdown, then that won't bode well. Jeremiah says not being prepared will not be tolerated altogether in 2023. Ohio State will win this game, period. There are no excuses. Let's beat the poop emoji out of them on their field. That's right. PC says if our cornerback play is better, that will do a very long way. Odysseus says running QB should alleviate red zone issues in the game. Good point. I like that. I like a running QB for sure. PC says D-line will be great. Linebackers solid. Safety should be reliable. Only question is corner. Yep. Billy says Jim Leonard, question mark. Ooh, that's a good one. He's not working right now, apparently. Billy says, I like Knowles a lot, but he's never coached in a division like the Big Ten. That's true. Barbaro 101 says Luke Fickell watching this closely. Yeah, probably. Probably. Brian Hartline, maybe even closer, right? If you're looking at replacements. PC says corners have to learn to turn their heads and play the ball. Yeah, that would be nice. PC, you've really been all over the corners, turning and looking for the ball. So what if this is a close game, low scoring affair, regardless of weather? Take weather off the table. It's just a slugfest between two good defenses. How do you feel then? How do you feel with like a 20-17 loss? A field goal again. Buckeyes are trying to drive down. They can't get inside the 30 to make it an easier field goal. They're left with a 47-yarder for a tie to go to the playoffs. What do you guys think? Who do you go after? What do you do to the staff, or do you just stand pat? Again, it's 3 losses in a row to Michigan. But if it's a close scoring slugfest, how do you feel about that? Do you start to look at the offense and say, where's the issue? Is it the running game? Tony Alford, Travion looked like shit. Is it the O-line? The O-line's getting blown up at the line of scrimmage, getting blown off the ball by Michigan's D tackles and D ends. What if quarterback play is subpar, for Ohio State? How do you guys feel about that? Badass Buckeye in the chat says, if Mike Hall is healthy, then our D-line will be top 10. Oh, yeah. Top 10 is my basement for this defense overall. PC says, if there's an exact repeat of last year, we lose to Team Up North and still make the playoff and lose to Georgia, then Day stays in place, but Knowles gets the hot seat. Okay. Yeah, I would like to avoid the 20-point blowout, even though it was late. I'd like to avoid that. Badass Buckeye says, I expect us to win it 30-24. Okay, so somewhat low scoring affair. Nobody's getting to 40. PC says, let me ask you this. What is the QB play like? That's the question. I'm saying in a close, low scoring game, it seems like it would be subpar. Like if the Buckeyes only put up 17 points, that seems like subpar quarterback play to me, right? Not moving the ball. Maybe there's some turnovers, picks, fumbles, strip sacks, whatever. That's how I see this game being a low scoring affair and a close game that the Buckeyes would lose. PC says, I assume it would be McCord, but if he can't get her done, bring in Brown. Sure. Yeah, but when do you pull the cord on McCord? First quarter, second quarter, halftime. How far? And then you throw a guy in cold in the third quarter. That's not a recipe for success. Temper says our running backs should be healthy. We can run. I agree. Assuming everybody's healthy across the board, everything's even. I do think the running game should be successful. But again, you got to remember, we're going into this season with 2 new tackles and a new center, so maybe that hurts the running game, the lack of experience. Now, I realize by week 12, you should have played enough ball together as an O-line to play as a cohesive unit. Now, if you have penalties, if those are an issue like they were last year, then that's an issue that has to be cleaned up. We can't have DeJuan Jones jumping offside or jumping early, a few times a game. That's just a drive killer. The holdings and stuff like that on first down plays. So Drew says that if you turn the team over to Heartline, it would be the same situation where a young coach would need to take his lumps. The same fans that want Dave fired would turn on Heartline quick. That's a great point, Drew. I can't argue with that one bit, and you're probably 100% right. There's going to be a contingent of fans that will, at the drop of a hat, want the guy fired. That's a great point. Badass Buckeye says QB play will be good as I see McCord as the next Troy Aikman from the Cowboys. Whoa, that's lofty praise. Troy Aikman is in the Hall of Fame, dude. Wow. But I like the comparison. Hello. Baburo 101 says, is Ryan Day the only coach in the country that can't wait to the 12th team playoff? I think there's a lot of coaches, especially down in the SEC, down south, that might like to see the 12-team playoff, because those guys that typically win, 9-10 games, they're going to get a crack at the playoffs when they never got a sniff before. I'm talking about your Tennessees, LSU maybe. I know they're getting better, but some of those second tier SEC teams, third tier even, but PC says yes, 17 points is subpar. PC says halftime is when you would yank the quarterback. Okay. PC says had everyone been healthy last year, our running backs, JSN, Stover, and Marv, all throughout the game, we'd beat Team Up North and win the Natty, period, full stop. That's a good take. That's a strong take, PC. That's why I appreciate your comments. And I think you're 100% right too. But again, I would also point to the corners not being healthy. PC says, Drew, you're right about OSU fans. They will eat you alive for losing. No tolerance for losing. Yeah. Jeremiah, this will not be a loss for Ohio State. Michigan will lose this game after we embarrass them on their field. Let's go Buckeyes. I love it. I love it, Jeremiah. Billy says Heartline needs at least 2 years as an OC before coming in HC. I agree, Billy. I just threw Heartline out there because, people are already clamoring for him to take over the job if Ryan Day leaves to go to the NFL or whatever. And whoever's asking for Mike Vrabel to come back to Ohio State if Ryan Day would leave, I don't think you should give that much thought. That seems like a waste of time. Mike Vrabel is a coach in the NFL. Why would he come back to college? You work a lot more in college. And now with the portal and NIL, he would fucking kill himself, man. The guy would lose it. He'd be choking kids, man. He'd pull a Woody Hayes in the game, Mike Vrabel is not an option. He would have to have a terrible NFL career in order to come back to college. And it doesn't look like that's going to happen so far. Drew says Day has made the playoffs at a higher percentage than any coach not named Saban. I would say he's fine with, I agree, Drew. But he is only 1-3 Is that Day's record in the playoffs, in the semifinals? He's never. Yeah, playoffs 3 or 4 years, but 1 and 3 in the semifinals. So, Odysseus, you nailed it. Vrabel hates recruiting. What else we got here? Winding down. Billy says, I think Fickle would jump in a heartbeat. Yes, Fickle would be probably the first interview to take that job. But Burrow 101 says Ohio State losing to Michigan is like a Mercedes losing to a Toyota. I don't know what that. Okay. Yeah, it seems like a Mercedes is a better car. I would agree. Are they both diesel still? Or no, Toyota's not diesel. I was thinking Volkswagen. Is Mercedes still making diesel cars? Just curious. Hey, while you're in here, please hit the like button. Please like this video. Help other Buckeye fans find it. Subscribe, please. Share it. That'd be awesome. Really appreciate everybody coming in. Odysseus has an interesting point here. You got the says Day needs to change up signals at halftime. PC says electric, LOL. Oh, electric cars, yeah. Already did. Yeah. Yeah. Already did what? Did you like the video? Thank you. I appreciate it. PC says, hey, congrats again, Joe. I appreciate that, PC. We're celebrating nonstop around here. Party never ends. And you guys really, this community we built up is amazing. It's getting bigger. PC says, yeah, I think our signals do get stolen a lot. Yeah, maybe. But you guys really have helped grow the show. We're really getting close to the 3K. We're at over 2,200 right now. We're going to make a big leap here. And then once the season starts, I think we're really going to explode. We're going to do some more advertising and really get our name out here. If you guys want to support the show, hit me with super chats, the super thanks, all those things help. The money goes right back into the show. I've got to buy like lighting and cameras and microphones. This stuff is getting old. This microphone's falling apart. I got to get stuff for Jeff and Sean so they can sound normal on a Sunday night when Sean's not half ripped. But yeah, really appreciate everybody in the community helping out, pitching in. I really, it's awesome to see. It makes me feel good. As you guys really have, you guys have done a lot. And your comments in the live shows really is awesome. PC said, Temper, sorry about that. Temper says we have to make better adjustments at the half. Yeah. Yeah, Billy's echoing that. He says against Michigan, they didn't make a good halftime adjustment last year, right? I would say the defense more so, but Ryan Day did coach a little tight, on the offensive side of the ball. PC says, what would you do with 10K before next season? I think 3K is possible for this season, but 10K next season. Ooh, that is quite the lofty goal, PC. But I like where your head is at, keeping it positive, growth minded. I would ask for some new underwear because I would have shit my pants, but that would be mind blowing if we could hit 10K. Yeah, that would be awesome. I would, geez, I don't know what I could do. We definitely are doing a meetup somewhere. I'm flying everybody in. No. Oh yeah, on the commitment front, good point, PC. We have KVA committing on Sunday. Kingston Viliamuasa from St. John Bosco out in Cali, committing Sunday at 5 p.m. So we might be rocking on Sunday night for the Sunday night show, we might be a little extra lit, do some shots if KVA commits to the Buckeyes, which I believe he will. Edwin Spillman just committed to Tennessee. He's from Tennessee, the linebacker, 4-star, just an hour ago committed to Tennessee. Not a big surprise there. His brother is currently a freshman. I believe he's a wide receiver. So, and being an in-state kid, not a big surprise. He did notify the Ohio State staff last night that he was committing to Tennessee, as they were the only two left. Oh, I forgot to ask you guys, what do you think of the gray uniforms, the all grays? Let me share this real quick. Share. If you haven't seen it yet. What do you guys think? First of all, CJ Barnett needs to lose some pounds. That's not his playing weight. He's the one modeling. But what do you guys think about the gray uniforms? Yay, nay? Thumbs up, thumbs down? I like the red shoes. What do you think of that? Gloves are cool, you know. I think they were saving up all the gray, and then they just blasted it all into one uniform because we kept bitching about getting gray in the sleeves. They're like, fine, fuckers, here you go. Let's see. In the chat. Yeah, Spillman, no surprise. Will Hartline or Day call the majority of the plays? Hartline is going to start off as the play caller week 1. So there's only one way to fuck that up, right? So Billy coming in with a super chat. Thank you, sir. Damn, Billy. With a super chat of $20. Thank you. I appreciate that. Whew. I'll take my wife to McDonald's tonight. Just kidding. No, that's very generous, Billy. Thank you very much. Yeah, Jeremiah, he asks, will Hartline or Day call majority of the plays? I think it's going to take some real mistakes by Brian Hartline to lose that gig. So I expect Hartline to be calling plays throughout the year. Barbaros says, which one is the harder game, Ohio State and Wisconsin or Michigan and Nebraska? Michigan at Nebraska. I don't know what Nebraska has on defense. I'm going to say Ohio State and Wisconsin is going to be harder. That's going to be a challenge offensively and defensively. They're bringing in an air raid system, and let me unshare the uniform. Hold up. So yeah, they're bringing in an air raid system. Luke Fickell's going to have a good defense. You know that. I know they're using the transfer portal a ton. So, yeah, I'm somewhat concerned about that Wisconsin game, especially being an away game. Now, Michigan going to Nebraska, not too concerned. We'll see what Michigan looks like by then, but Nebraska's defense still is not a big concern to me. Let's see, backing up. Drew says the jerseys are absolute fire. Temper says they look cool. PC says, I like the alternates, always have, just as long as they don't do them all the time. I agree. And you can't do them against Michigan, right? You can't do alternate uniforms for the game. I mean, that should be pretty obvious, right? PC says, I really love the black ones, though, but gray is good. Full-blooded Buckeye, what's up, man? Good to see you. He says, shit, I'm big time late. It's all right. It's all right. It's good to see you anyway. We're going to wind down here. It's 5 after 5. PC says, white ones are great too, but those don't come around often. Yeah, I like the all whites, but I miss the silver pants. Can we get like an all silver? Not the werewolf gray shit. Just, yeah, silver helmet, silver pants, silver jersey. That seemed like it'd be pretty tight, especially at a night game. PC says, yeah, white ones are great. Temper says they should have been gray all along. PC says, dang, Billy, making the rest of us look bad on the super chat. Jeremiah says, let's go Buckeyes. Let's beat that team from Dam Arbor. Let's go. Full-blooded Buckeye says, I like those new alt uniforms. Yeah, I think they're cool. Billy says, Michigan will have an unexpected loss before we play them. Ooh, I like that. We're going to have to do a schedule breakdown here. We got plenty of time before the season starts, so we'll have to talk about that. Jeremiah says Ohio State just can't beat the buttholes of the Big Ten. We need to humiliate them. Let's go Buckeyes. Yep. And PC says, yeah, pretty obvious traditional uniforms for the game. Yeah. I like to state the obvious sometimes. But all right, boys. Appreciate all you guys. I'm going to wind her out, and got some good daily blitzes coming up. We got a special on Bryson Rogers, the freshman receiver. We're going to be talking condition of the position. We're going to do D tackles soon, and a bunch of stuff going on. So there hasn't been any real recruiting movement lately, so not a lot of updates to give you there. We do have the Ohio State Summerfest in the Shoe next Friday, the 28th. So I'll try and get a list together of who's coming to that and get that out to you beforehand. But PC, thank you. Appreciate you. We'll talk to you later. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you hopefully Sunday night. All right. Talk to you later. Go Bucks.